Good evening, everyone. The biannual Janet Rodgers Memorial Lectureship is now convened. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I know that after a long day of work and study, we appreciate your time coming to join us at the University of San Diego here at our home in Alcala Park. And always remember, when you're at USD, you are home. We're here this evening to honor our past and look to our future. We're gathered as friends, family, and nurses to participate in the Janet Rodgers Memorial Lectureship, which we hold every 2 years. And I know if Janet were with us tonight, she would love this event because its focus is on the intellectual achievements of our School of Nursing. I'd like to take a couple of minutes to share some thoughts about that before we begin. The fundamental focus of the Hahn School of Nursing and Health Science is the expansion of nursing knowledge and the creation of thought leaders in nursing. Tonight, we honor one exceptional thought leader, Dr. Patricia Roth. Over the past 4 decades, Dr. Roth has provided thought leadership needed to bring Southern California to its current high level of excellence in nursing education. We are so very grateful for all she has done, and we wanted to take a special evening to recognize what she's done for all of us as nurses. In 1974, our founding dean, Dr. Irene Palmer, took a risk. She founded a graduate School of Nursing. And this was at a time when graduate schools of nursing were extremely rare in the state of California. In fact, only 2 of them existed at that time, in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Like many marginalized groups, nurses in San Diego simply had no access to doctoral education. Dean Palmer wanted to change that. Dean Palmer was joined by an amazing founding faculty in this endeavor, including Dr. Patricia Roth, Dr. Evie Anderson, and Dr. Rosemary Goodyear. And I would like to take a moment to honor that founding faculty tonight. We have Dr. Anderson and Dr. Goodyear with us. Thank you. During the next 45 years, the graduate school in which our faculty worked with such dedication and determination has become a leader in nursing education in the entire nation. But I'd like us to reflect for a moment, what is a graduate school of nursing? Now, I still get asked this question by professionals and lay people, even in the year 2020. Here's what a graduate school of nursing is to me. First of all, it's a risk. It was a risk in 1974, and it still is. A graduate school of nursing is a form of cultural critique that dares to assert that nursing has a right to be a full partner at the intellectual table of American universities. It's also a risk to believe that healthcare equity is possible in the United States and that nurses can meet that need with the leadership of doctorally prepared nurses. But I also think a graduate school of nursing is a miracle. Now, by miracle, I don't in particular mean something spiritual or religious. I mean something outside the established order. And as a phenomenologist might say, it's something that's beyond the horizons of our current understanding. It's the power we as nurses, as a group, have to call those things into being which remain yet unseen. Since the time of Ms. Nightingale, nurses have been working miracles on a daily basis. They don't always happen exactly the way we might envision, but they do happen over and over again through hard work and persistence. Together, as nurses, we call things into being, and in time, they appear. In 1984, Dean Palmer, along with the faculty of our school, dared to open the second doctoral program in nursing in California, the only doctoral program south of San Francisco. It was not an easy journey. But that miracle, which Dean Palmer, Dr. Roth, and our faculty called into being, is now a lived reality. And Dr. Roth played a major role in making that miracle happen, and even more miracles. Miracles of growth of nursing as a profession in San Diego. Miracles of people who never would have had access to graduate education, now being our thought leaders in nursing. Miracles of our largest healthcare organizations in San Diego now being led by her former students. The debt all of us as nurses owe to Dr. Roth can never be repaid in full. It is my hope that this evening we will share the joy, and maybe some tears, of having known this remarkable colleague who's given all of us the experience of a miracle. And now at this point, I would like to turn the podium over to Dr. Roth for the program overviews and introductions. Our guest of honor, Dr. Roth.
I want to thank you all so much for being here and being part of this. It's just delightful to see each of you that are here. And I thought, gosh, this is the year of the nurse, 2020, the year of the nurse educator, and the 200th anniversary of Florence Nightingale's birth. So we're in, you guys, for 2020. Okay. I don't have to be really intellectual because I'm retired. So I thought, okay. I'd like to take you back to 1980. Now, I know that some of you weren't born then, but anyhow, bear with me. San Diego was a pretty small town in 1980. There was one high-rise downtown. If you go now, you lose count at about 25 or something, okay? Community hospitals dotted the area, and they were small and freestanding. Mercy, Sharp, Scripps, Bay General, and Community Hospital in Chula Vista, Mission Bay, Grossmont, a whole list of them. And they were individual freestanding hospitals. They were not healthcare systems. Partnerships hadn't been formed yet. And of course, Balboa Naval Hospital was a recognizable landmark. We all saw it in movies before we ever got here even, so we knew what it looked like. And a trip to Lawrence Welk was always a must when people came visiting from the Midwest or elsewhere. And boy, you could zip right up 163 in no time. Now, yeah. Anyhow, we loved the music of Whitney Houston. Big hair, big shoulders, and power suits were the look at that particular time. We didn't have any cell phones, no personal computers. It was blackboards, overhead projectors, slides, and films. Those were our classroom teaching tools of the day. So for those of you who remember that, it's hard to recognize the classrooms of today, particularly in the new Beister Institute for Research, which is our most recent building. So that was the year I came to USD. As you've heard from Dr. Georges, USD was a small, beautiful campus with a brand new School of Nursing building. It was the last building on the west side of campus, and all of these other structures would follow in the years that came to be. Dr. Arthur Hughes was the president, a very intelligent, handsome, articulate man who would take this university to the next level. Sister Sally Fury was the provost. At that time, women were scarce in academia, very much so, and certainly in administration. And she was a phenomenal woman, attorney, PhD, et cetera, who had women in mind in terms of advancing this campus. Dr. Georges has already spoken to you about Dr. Palmer. We didn't mention that her associate dean at the time was Phoebe Lee. And those two were quite a dynamic duo. And many of you who might have been at the school at that point in time, she was a very supportive, wonderful woman. And I think sometimes we forget all the things that she did with Dr. Palmer and her faculty. I also want to mention that we were a very small faculty then, I think a total of 8 with administration. And I did want to mention, although Dr. George has already introduced Dr. Anderson and Dr. Goodyear, that Dr. Anderson laid the foundation for research. Her leadership was fundamental in establishing the doctoral program, and she influenced thousands of nurses in this community and abroad in her long teaching career with an emphasis on research methods. She retired, as wonderful she is, at 89. So I know she says that, so I know she doesn't mind me telling you again how marvelous. Okay. Dr. Rosemary Goodyear established the nurse practitioner program here at USD, the master's level. She was the first nurse practitioner to establish an independent practice in the San Diego area. She became an international consultant and most recently assisted one of our PhD alumni to establish a Doctor of Nursing practice program in Taiwan. So we have a little gift for you, and maybe we'll wait till afterwards to give it to you. So thank you so much for being here. You are true friends and colleagues. So, the decision to establish the research-focused doctorate was not taken lightly, nor was the goal achieved without conquering significant hurdles. One of which, legend has it, that Dr. Hughes told Dr. Palmer, "Over my dead body." And so that became the challenge. Okay, so, and of course, she did move right through, and she established how the program would go. She did the needs assessment. She established how we would do it with no additional financing and what the dream would be. So I did want to say that. I can remember, because there were so few of us, we were often going to one meeting or the other by ourselves. So one day, because she was not available, she sent me to the president's cabinet meeting. The president had in his cabinet at that point in time the vice presidents and the deans. With the exception of Sally Fury, they were all men. And it was formidable because this sweet little thing didn't know what the heck she was doing. And so when I went to that meeting, they went around to the deans and said, "Well, what's happening in your program?" And not knowing what had come before, I said, "We're establishing a doctoral program." Oh my God. So anyhow, it was a very interesting time, and I remember that it was not easy. And today, there are over 360 graduates of the research-focused doctorate in this community, across the country, and abroad. So I thought, supposedly individuals that are educated in the research-focused doctoral programs are prepared to pursue careers in research, academia, leadership in clinical settings, and careers in government and health policy, business, and industry. I asked if we couldn't have a few of our alumni from the DNSC and the PhD programs join us tonight to describe their positions, discuss the influence perhaps of the program on their career, and raise issues about the future of nursing as a discipline and a profession. I will introduce each presenter very briefly by their role and their current title. So Please refer to your program for more information about their careers. 3 of the participants are at the height of their careers and have influenced healthcare in San Diego and on the national scene, as well as internationally. There are other 3 that are recent graduates of last year. So I wanted you to see the difference in what they do and how they do, and when you're beginning and when you have arrived, kind of thing. So, okay. Yeah, okay. I don't know how these 3 all have gray hairs coming along. Except, of course, Ricky. Okay. Dr. Ann Mayo is the professor and nurse researcher from the Hahn School of Nursing and Health Science. She is at the far end. Dr. Karen Sue Hoyt is professor and program director of our nurse practitioner programs, again at the Hahn School of Nursing and Health Science. We are particularly pleased to have Dr. Lori Ecoff with us, who's vice president of the Center of Nursing Excellence at Sharp Healthcare in San Diego. She is also our partner in the Robert Wood Johnson Preparation of Future Nurse Leaders and Educators. Dr. Michael Baumgartner, whom I have known for many years, who had a wonderful career prior to coming to nursing and is currently a nurse manager in Sharp Healthcare. Thank you for being here, Michael. Dr. Ricardo Padilla is a nurse educator at UC San Diego Health. He is the only doctoral student thus far to have published all of his 3 papers prior to graduating from the program. And finally, Dr. Linnell Lemon. Dr. Lemon flew in to be with us tonight all the way from Cincinnati, and she will be leaving on the red eye, so I'm really glad to have her here. She's Director of Professional Education on Target Laboratories in Indiana. So a new role for her, and I'm anxious for her to tell you about it. Okay? Thank you.